Whoops, wrong tracer. 1 second. Here we go. So I wanted to take an extended hiatus from making Left 4 Dead content to dig into another gaming franchise that I've fallen head over heels for in the last few years. I took my time explaining everything Left 4 Dead has to offer, but after so much milking, the zombie cow has run dry and needs to refuel. So now it's time to milk a more competitive and cartoony cow that likes to put its lore to the side. That's right, we're moving to the Overwatch franchise and a whole new profile series based on the numerous heroes and villains that make up the rich of Blizzard's most recent successful new franchise. I mulled over who should be the first hero that we should go over, not only in Overwatch, but a series that isn't horror related, and I figured why not start with the face of the box art, every sexual SFM creator's dream, and the character with the nicest posterior. Let's start with Winston.
Cavalry's here!
This week we're covering the time-skipping British bing-bonging, tight so tight they'll cut the blood flow to your ass, every teen boy's crush, but it won't work out because she's into chicks bro, ginger-loving peacekeeper herself. This week it's Hero Profile, Tracer. Hailing from London in the United Kingdom, Tracer, or going by her real name of Lena Oxton, was a crackshot pilot who was offered a position in the organization of Overwatch. She gladly accepted the chance and became the youngest person to ever be inducted into Overwatch. The organization sought to use her skill set to test the prototype of a new teleporting fighter jet called the Slipstream. Although a freak accident, the fighter jet's teleportation matrix went haywire, causing itself and its pilot, Lena Oxton, to disappear without a trace? I know, bad pun, but it's not like she died or anything. She reappeared months later. She wasn't around for too long though, since her molecules were desynchronized with the flow of time. Even though she had full awareness of what was going on for her, it was like that scene in Futurama where time kept jumping forward.
I'm no physicist, but I think I know how to stop the skipping. We'll just... I don't know how this was supposed to work.
However, for those around her, they didn't see Tracer for hours or even days while her mass was cascaded to the winds of time. This unorthodox affliction was soon referred to as chronal disassociation, but no type of cure or fix for her predicament was found until a certain primate with apparently more book learning invented a device that would turn her ailment into an advantage. The chrono trigger, chrono accelerator, was invented to keep Tracer grounded in the present timeline while also harnessing the capabilities of the time fluctuations and giving Tracer the abilities we know now. Tracer gained the ability to individually skip forward and backward in time at her own will, as long as enough charge is available. If used too erratically, the device will shut down temporarily. However, even when shut down, it still acts as an anchor to keep Tracer from disappearing. This also means she can take off the chrono accelerator at any given time. Unlike Iron Man, who has to pretty much keep his little chest device right at home, she only needs to be near the device for it to keep her from skipping uncontrollably. Because of this new device giving her a whole new spectrum of capabilities, she has the ability to take away damage, avoid gunfire, and ambush and spy on enemies at will, and like icing on the cake, Tracer barely ages as time progresses. Can't have the face of Overwatch looking older than someone in her early 20s, now can we, Blizzard? With her new abilities, Tracer wanted to become an asset to Overwatch in any way she could, undergoing training in the Overwatch Headquarters Training and Evaluation Center under the guidance of Winston and Dr. Angela Ziegler to monitor her safety and combat capabilities, while also sparring against the current Blackwatch agent Genji with her own new weapons called the Pulse Pistols. Witnessing the finesse of Tracer's combat capabilities, Strike Commander Jack Morrison felt impressed and spoke with Lena's drive to aid Overwatch even after such a recent traumatic experience. Morrison promoted her to active duty as a cadet and soon was deployed on her first mission, looking like a flight attendant, that would bring her to a familiar place. In an unsanctioned mission to stop the Null Sector uprising in King's Row of London, Tracer found herself defending her home that, at the time, was restricting Overwatch activity in the premises. She was deployed alongside Mercy, Reinhardt, and Torbjorn. The team was very welcoming to Tracer, well, all except for the short-tempered Torbjorn, who scoffed at her inclusion by spitting out, "Looks like the cavalry's here." I wonder if Torb ever demanded royalties for coining Tracer's catchphrase, because kids all over the world would be quoting that for years to come.
Don't worry, loves. Cavalry's here.
He said it! He said it!
The mission to disable and shut down the Null Sector, a rogue squadron of Omnics looking to further attack humankind, was successful. However, public knowledge of the mission was never released publicly, considering Great Britain had not agreed to Overwatch aid in the crisis. Tracer was not a hero that looked for fame in the headlines anyway, and after her first mission ended with 100% victory, Tracer was stationed as an agent at Watchpoint Jabroni.
Jabronis. cool word.
I mean Gibraltar, the central headquarters for Overwatch operations. It was somewhere during this time that Tracer dropped the Overwatch flight attendant looking uniform for a more revealing outfit topped with an ace pilot's jacket. Sometime after becoming a full-fledged agent, Tracer was deployed alongside her past sparring partner Genji, now a regular Overwatch cohort, and former supervisor Winston to Numbani, where Doomfist was wreaking havoc. Despite Tracer's agile and hasty onslaught against him, Doomfist proved to show more cunning reflexes and power! Akin to Bruce Lee catching a fly with chopsticks, Doomfist snags Tracer mid-skip by her chrono trigger and not only rips it off Tracer's body, but crushes it within his gauntlet, fulfilling the goal to make Tracer only half there. Aha! Infinity War! With the only thing keeping Tracer stable in the real world's frame of time, her chronal disassociation was fully showcased again, but in a more dire light. Although Tracer was rendered incapacitated, Winston was able to defeat Doomfist and eventually either repair the chrono harness or just completely make a new one from scratch. It's unknown how, during this occurrences of chronal disassociation, how Tracer is able to be pinned down in her erratic displacement as shown in the side story. It is possible, since it's not necessary to wear the device, but just be in its vicinity, that Winston was able to suppress the symptoms of the time-rendering affliction. This encounter with Doomfist is the only known major event Tracer encountered before Overwatch was forced to shut down. Her time as a decommissioned agent was spent doing what she does best, by helping those in need, and yada yada yada. I don't have any info, but it's the usual MO for heroes. Tracer had been called back into duty while in East England after receiving the recall order from her old friend Winston, the both of them sharing how much they had missed each other.
Winston? Is that you, love? It's been too long.
Shortly after discussing the rekindling of the shambles of Overwatch, Tracer made her way to see a public figure she greatly admired, the Shambali leader Takartha Mandata, who sought to unify relations between humans and Omnics, a sentiment Tracer had been looking to do even during the Null Sector uprising. Unfortunately, a spider entered the habitat of peace, catching the attention of Lena Oxton, eventually leading to a direct confrontation with the Talon assassin Widowmaker. Tracer, even in the face of her enemies, chose to be nothing but quirky and fun-loving during the entire fight.
Trying to crash another party, love?
Throwing jokes and playful jabs at the big serious booty herself, showing a stark parallel between the two characters, one being delightful and playful, the other being dark and sinister. Tracer does show urgency by tapping into Mandata's security team's communications channel, urging the team to escort the leader safely away. Shortly after, Widow is able to cunningly trick Tracer into a position where she either must use her abilities to rewind away from the drop shot of the year, or suffer a direct blow to her chrono accelerator. Upon doing so, Widowmaker was successful in assassinating Mandata. Tracer's cheerful state instantly turns into a serious bout of anger and sorrow as she pins down Widowmaker, asking,
Why? Why would you do this?
At this time, the attitudes of both Tracer and Widowmaker are switched as one becomes serious and the other somewhat sinister but playful. Tracer faces her first scene failure as she tumbles to the ground below, also showcasing that her greatest strength in her time warping abilities was also her greatest weakness. Her past confrontations with Doomfist could have formed a fear of her accelerator being destroyed again, especially since she was working alone without the aid of Winston there. The events following the assassination of Mandata were also most likely taxing on Tracer, whom was given a grim reminder of the limit to her capabilities, as well as knowing a role model of hers had been killed, while not by her, but that her actions could or could not have prevented Mandata's death. This, however, did not affect her teary demeanor as she comes to defend the Overwatch Museum in Numbani. Widowmaker and Reaper, seeking to reclaim Doomfist's gauntlet, invaded the museum only to be intercepted by Winston and Lena. The pursuing fight was a mirror to her encounter with Widow in King's Row. Reaper, unleashing his Death Blossom, causes Tracer to fall back, knowing fully well she must keep an eye on her accelerator's charge time and well-being. In her encounter with the assassin, her over-the-top dialogue, actions, and antics this time around disarmed Widowmaker, and conjoined with the primarily raged Winston, forced the Talon agents to retreat. Tracer looked to the impressionable youth that witnessed everything and sought to become a role model much like Mandata onto them by saying,
You know, the world could always use more heroes.
Outside her line of work with Overwatch, Lena Oxton still resides where she grew up in London, living with her girlfriend Emily, who she cares for deeply, enough to scour the entire city looking for a Christmas gift for her in the dead of night after most stores were closed. Tracer's kindness was returned when a girl gave her a scarf as a token of appreciation for getting back her family's stolen gifts from a thief earlier that night. Tracer gave Emily the scarf and the two kissed as they made plans to visit Winston, who was spending the holidays alone, showing the family-like bond the two share, as also shown in previous photographs with much of the Overwatch squad. Dialing back to her relationship with Emily, well, this was a big step for Blizzard to take. Revealed during their holiday comic, Kaplan said the team was focusing on making the reveal a realistic approach that didn't seem like it was shoehorned in or trying to pander to a specific audience, considering the game and lore were viewed by numerous countries all over the world with different laws and ethics on homosexuality. They basically didn't want Tracer busted in yelling, "I'm a lesbian, governor, I love vagina, oh, just as much as I love skin-tight knickers."
We're not going to give you the point just because you're gay.
You're not giving me the point because I'm gay? That's it. I'm Tumblr shading you!
But then again, after looking at Tracer's Rule 34 on Google, I can see why she may have made the switch. That and her new skin looks like Ellen DeGeneres. Despite this, the comic was flat out banned on the Russian site for Overwatch for openly displaying and promoting homosexuality, which was against federal law. Since we already have taken a step into the real world, let's take things out of the Overwatch universe and start to take a quick look at the development and real-life instances behind Tracer. In the cancelled project called Titan that came before Overwatch, which I will probably be bringing up frequently in future videos, a male character called Jumper, consisting of the exact same weapon and ability set and even the same nice booty, no homo. The prime focus of the character from the start was to be able to literally blink across the map. Her, along with Widowmaker and Reaper, were the first three characters designed and fully developed, although Tracer was the character that really stood out and the development team got to know, according to Chris Menson, who even compared her nature to Spider-Man. This connection with Tracer so early on was probably the reasoning for making her the Mario, Master Chief, Sonic, and Nathan Drake, Spyro, Crash, whatever PlayStation's mascot is. She was the poster child for the Overwatch franchise. The voice actress for Tracer, Cara Theobald, I think I'm saying that right, does give a slight nod to her previous acting gigs in her character Tracer. Tracer will sometimes say she has weird dreams of the past, one of which was being a kitchen maid at a large house in the country, directly referencing Kara's character Ivy Stewart in Downton Abbey. My friend Cake would castrate me if I didn't say this part, but Tracer can also be found as a background character in Ready Player One 3 separate times. It just makes me wonder if the production studio behind the movie paid royalties to have Tracer featured, or if Blizzard asked them to have her featured. Either way, it was cool seeing her zip around for just a few short panels. Now you may be wondering if I'll get into the playable aspect of the literally dashing hero, but I'm going to steer clear of all gaming techniques just because so many Overwatch channels have done it time and time again over the past 2 years. But what I will do is say a single sentence about how I feel about them in game. So Tracer, annoying as fuck, like trying to swat a fly who has Ultra Instinct. So that about covers Lena Oxton. Did I miss anything about the blimey booty? Not a fan of the Overwatch content? Have a suggestion of what hero I should do next? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and also follow me on Twitter, Discord, and donate to my Patreon so you can super vote for which hero will come next, as well as get a shout out in my videos. Which, while I'm talking about shout outs, here's the shout out to Patreon and Super Chat donators: Lovable Tester, Mario, NATO6141, Mo Mocha, and Zeno Salvador, Scout with the name, Ricardo Ascension, Dr. Do PhD, Austin Langford, Michael Martinez, Drake and Z Ford, Twilight Duck, Deja, Obi-Wan Jones, Just Lemons, Exploding Burritos Experience, Triggered Communism, KMAACC, Nick B, Benny Boy, Kylie Elizabeth, Emerald Wolf, Florian B. Bell, Gaius Maiden, Jesse Piazza, and Taylor 07. Thank you for your generous contributions to WoW Such Gaming.